known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
Happy Tuesday, guys. Carmine Bianco, WagerTalk.com with this week's edition of Stoppage Time. Champions League into the semifinal rounds, but they take a week off. They'll return next week, and we will have not only that, but Europa League Conference and Europa League as part of our card next week on Tuesday's 10 a.m. show. Today, we're going to do some EPL action and some La Liga action, including today's big game at Anfield, Liverpool and Man United. We'll also do Chelsea and Arsenal, which goes tomorrow. Everton and Leicester City also tomorrow. And then we'll finish it off with a La Liga game as Real Sociedad takes on and hosts Barcelona. With me from WagerTalk.com, it's Nick Borrman and Kevin Dolan. And from SportsMemo, Pavlos Laguretos. Let's bring him in. Kev, I'm going to go to you first, my friend. How you doing?
All good, Carmine. Yeah, riding really hot in soccer right now. Went 10-3 over the weekend in soccer. We had another winner last night in Cadiz. Should have took them on the money line. 5-0 in soccer free plays as well. Had Verona last night against Atalanta. So, add premium and free plays together right now. We're on a 15-3 run since the end of last week. So, kind of couldn't be happier with how things are rolling right now. And we're looking to take that into the night. 5% Euro Soccer top play up for Tuesday. Kicks off 3 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, all good my end. And, looking forward to talking some EPL in today's show.
Awesome. Good to hear, and continue that run. As we were talking about before we went to air, a friend of mine sent me a ticket of his. He literally, he loves his parlays and took a 3-team money line parlay. He took the draw in the first game, Napoli and Roma. Got a late goal there to keep him alive. Then he had Verona and, as you said, Cadiz, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Huge money line underdogs, and he had a $10 3-teamer on that and hit just over $3,100. So that's a nice little hit for him. That's going to feed his parlays, I'm going to guess, for the next few months. Nick, what's going on?
I was spinning my wheels a little bit on the weekend with the Euro soccer plays. Had lost the 3 plays on Saturday, but then came back and won 3 or 5 on Sunday, but MLS was great over the weekend. So that's rolling well, up 26% so far in the MLS season. So hopefully that continues as we move forward. That's been good. It was ended last season very, very hot with MLS as well. So hopefully we can continue that. And we got a month left in this soccer season, roughly. So we got plenty of time to get things going here. With the fun of the next few weeks is figuring out who's playing for what, right? So I'm sure we'll talk about that. Maybe not this week, but as we get in the next few weeks of those last couple of games and who's got something to play for and how does that affect the line. So looking forward to getting into all that.
Yeah, exactly so, Nick. And the thing is, this next 30 days or so is going to be absolutely action-packed. There's a lot of games, a lot of midweek games. We're into the semifinal rounds of, as I said, not only Champions League, but Europa League and Europa Conference League, which is the first year of that tournament. And a lot of very good teams. There's going to be a ton of games. And I'm going to have a really cool promo for everyone shortly on that, on a 30-day soccer all-access package. But first, let's bring in Pavlos Laguretos of SportsMemo. Pavlos, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm doing great, especially in the La Liga. This has been my go-to league this season. I won a couple of big bets over the weekend, also my 5% on Sunday. To be honest, I'm kind of angry about losing 2 bets actually last week with goals in the stoppage time. Instead of going up 10 units, I'm down 6 units. But these were literally last goals in the last minute of stoppage time. So I still believe that I made the right prediction. But still, that was last week. This is a new week. I have a lot of plays up. I have a big 5-unit play up for tonight. A lot of La Liga plays actually because there's these midweek matches. And as Nick said, this is going to be an action-packed, last month or 5 weeks, 6 weeks of soccer. So yeah, it's all looking great.
All right. With that said, let's get right to it, guys. Let's let's look at the first game on the card for today's show, and game is going today at Anfield. Liverpool and Man United. The odds on this one: Liverpool -250. The draw +375. Man United is +600. A big price on Man United. Some of the news heading into this one: obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo will not be part of the lineup here for personal reasons. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out to his family. He lost a newborn, twins. He had twins. The boy obviously did not survive. So thoughts and prayers to him as he spends time with his family. But, getting back to this game, listen, Kevin and I are going to look at this game. If you watch the game on the weekend, the problems still exist for this United side defensively. They played bottom of the league, Norwich, winning 3-2. Ronaldo getting the hat trick in that one and saving them late. And we're heading into the stretch run. 6 or 7 games left for a lot of these teams, and a lot of placings up for grabs. You look at Liverpool; their next couple of games could really determine if they're going to make a run at top spot. They're only a point back of Man City, but they have this big game today, and then on Sunday, it's the Merseyside Derby against Everton, and that is always a big one and one that gives them some difficulties. But this team is playing extremely well right now. They're into the semifinals of Champions League. And then you got United. You look at their next 3 games, and they've got this one here. They then play, and these are over the next 10 days. They then play at Arsenal before returning home to face Chelsea. 3 tough games in a 10-game span will tell whether this team will continue to battle for that 4th spot with Arsenal and Tottenham for the 4th spot in the league and a Champions League placing. With that said, it's the defensive issues for this United squad that have me worried, especially heading to Anfield. The next goal by Liverpool at Anfield will be the 400th home goal under Jurgen Klopp at home as manager of this Liverpool team. And I see them getting more than a goal here. Kev, I'm going to keep this simple. I think this one is Liverpool. I understand teams will sometimes rally for a player on that team. We see it across a lot of different sports. I don't think this is one of those times. I think there's too much wrong with this United team that even that won't get them over the finish line with any type of a result here. I'm going to go Liverpool halftime, full time. I think that's a good way to play this game. You get plus 105 or plus 110 across a couple different books. I think they get on top early. They take advantage of that back line. Lindelof, Harry Maguire, they have not looked good. They didn't look good on the weekend. Give me Liverpool halftime, full time. I say they take advantage of that defense early and go on and win this game quite comfortably.
Well, I'll echo your thoughts. Firstly, Carmine, heartfelt condolences to Ronaldo and his family, obviously, on the death of his son. As a father myself, I can only imagine that kind of grief. So prayers go out to him, obviously. I will say I'm possibly a bit more sentimental than you. I'm Hallmark's biggest customer. So I don't know. I could say you would like to think United would be more inspired here. We've seen it before with clubs like Leicester City after the helicopter crash, which took the lives of the owners and his family, the Lakers as well with Kobe Bryant. It's something I've witnessed at a more local level as well with my local club team back in Ireland. Where you really do see unity or lack thereof when the huge tragedy takes place at a club. And, as I said, United might be well inspired to play for Ronaldo tonight. I know we like to look at a lot of data points, system angles on this show and so on, but as I said, it'll be interesting to see if this can galvanise this United team into a better performance tonight. I won't have any action on this game. We all know Liverpool are so good. They need to win here, obviously, as well, if they want to keep pace with Manchester City for the title. But under this type of atmosphere, Liverpool having a minute silence, I believe, at the 7-minute mark as well for Ronaldo's family. I believe, you would expect, or at the very least hope, as I said, that United can raise their game tonight kind of have Ronaldo's back. And even if they do lose, which, as you mentioned, is highly likely, show some fight at least, because they've been very kind of lethargic in a lot of their losses this season, kind of put on a spirited display here tonight. If I was betting this game because of that, I would be taking United plus 1.5, as we might see them. They've got a change of manager coming up as well. Might see them a bit more emboldened in this game. And if they come out flat here tonight, that raises even bigger issues at this club. So, if I was betting this game, it would be United for me on the plus 1.5 handicap line, but it's not a game I'll be involved in.
Yeah, and Kev, I sort of echo your thoughts with Liverpool doing something for him at the game today. It's just, when I look at this game, before we move on to the next one, you look at the last, 2, maybe 3 months, last 90 days for United going back to the end of January. They played 13 games. They've only kept 2 clean sheets. One was a scoreless draw at home against Watford, and a 2-0 win. I think it was over Brighton. So this team and their defense just it just doesn't bring me any comfort whatsoever on a game-to-game basis. They're going to allow goals. Now, will they score today? That remains to be seen, because you take that big part of the team out of the lineup. Him getting 3 goals last week, Ronaldo, who steps up in this spot. But as you said, if they are galvanized, maybe that plus 1.5 is good. We'll see. The first 10-15 minutes, we're likely going to see a ton of energy from this United squad. But as the game progresses, I think Liverpool take control in that one. Any final thoughts?
No, I completely agree. It's definitely hard. That's why I'm not getting involved in this game, because it's too hard to trust United. As you said, they've been so poor defensively. But yeah, it's just off that kind of enthusiastic, need to back Ronaldo in this spot, that if I absolutely had to make a pick, I would probably take United and not plus 1.5 handicap. And you never know. Liverpool might take it easy on them, out of sympathy. Scuff a few chances.
They very well could. That's Kevin Dolan, WagerTalk.com, on a very good run right now, 10-3, last 13 plays. Keep that going. Guys, let's go to the second game. This one goes tomorrow. This is Chelsea and Arsenal. Chelsea minus 118. The draw is plus 250. Arsenal plus 320 in this one. Nick, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Arsenal have been playing so well for so long, but now Arsenal is doing Arsenal things. They are struggling right now, and that 4th spot that looked like they were in very good shape to go into the final couple rounds of the season, holding on to it, is now starting to slip away from them. This line is extremely low. Obviously, Chelsea having played a Champions League game and then having played an FA Cup game, they're squeezing in quite a few fixtures, but there's 120-ish a bargain here on Chelsea.
Listen, the Arsenal results have been very frustrating for me. I took out a top 4 position on Arsenal to finish the season, I don't know, maybe 5-6 weeks ago, plus 175. They had a couple games in hand. They were playing very well. As you mentioned, Carm, they started rolling. They got into this point where they're like, okay, it'd take a miracle now if they don't get to top 4. Now they lose 3 straight games. They're on the outside looking in. I'm pulling my hair out. I mean, the losses are alarming, obviously, because they're not, it's not like they're losing. They lost their first game. They lost 4 of the last 5. Their first game was Liverpool. Expected. Nothing bad about that. But then their last 3 games against the teams that they've been losing to, Southampton, Brighton, I mean, it's inexcusable for a team battling for a top 4. What's even more frustrating is they've been generating chances. They're just doing, as you mentioned, Arsenal things, and they can't score. They cannot convert their chances. They've actually generated 4.75 expected goals per game, which is a 1.58 average. But they've scored 1 goal in those 3 games that they've just lost. So their chances are there. They're not playing terribly. They just simply are not scoring. And then that becomes a mental game, right? And it's hard to get out of that funk. Defensively, they've been playing okay against those teams, 3.04 expected goals in those 3 games total, but they conceded 6 actual goals on just 11 shots on goal. So it seems like a regression to the mean would be coming for Arsenal. But Chelsea, they've now won 3 straight games in 3 different competitions, 6-0 versus Southampton Premier League, a Leg 2 win against Real Madrid. Even though they were knocked out, they did play very well in that game. And then they had that 2-0 win over Palace this weekend to reach the FA Cup final. On the season, the motivation here is with the Arsenal, I would think. I mean, Chelsea, for all intents and purposes, have their spot locked up, right? They're third. They're going to finish third. It would be a miracle for them to do anything else but that. Mm-hmm. And statistically, that's right where they rank pretty much all across the board. So it makes sense where they are. But they've proven that they can win big games, and they're playing with some high confidence at this point. So if I'm backing a side here, I would probably go with Chelsea, just because they are actually winning games right now and scoring, even though Arsenal isn't playing terribly. They're just not getting the results. I will mention one last trend that I'll probably have a few bucks on is the first half over. So in 9 out of the last 10 meetings between these teams, including the last 7 straight Premier League matches, there's been at least 1 goal scored in the first half. So you can get over 1 first half goals for plus money right now, plus 105. So I thought that was an interesting trend here to continue to back. But I like Chelsea as the side, but I do like that over first half 1 goal as well.
All right, that is Nick Borrman of WagerTalk.com. Pavlos, you look at this one, and 4 losses in their last 5 games, and now you have this white noise, obviously with Alexander Lacazette talking about in the press, in the media, that he wants to play Champions League next season. He's sort of laying the groundwork because they have not renegotiated his contract. Of him not being part of this squad next season, especially if they don't finish top 4. Does any of that come into this game for you?
Yeah, of course. I'm not right now. Like I said, he lost. He missed the weekend match against Southampton, where of course they lost due to a coronavirus issue. I was just reading the news. Arteta says he wants to have him included, but it's unsure yet. How these things go. They're gonna test him, then they're gonna see if he's fit. But even so, he said that he wants to go back to Lyon. He has been frequently, in touch with Lyon, so that he's been talking about them since he came to Arsenal. So I'm not so sure what's going on there. Maybe he wants out, and having one pure striker in your squad and him wanting out, it's really, really, it's a red flag for me, actually. And here's the thing with Arsenal. Even though he was missing, actually in the last 3 matches, they had very, very high amounts of ball possession. I mean, against Southampton, they had 76%. That's like 3/4. It's insane. Against Brighton, they had 65. Against Palace, they had, I think it was 69. So they do have the ball a lot on their feet. They do create a lot of chances, but they just can't finish them. And they've shown us this season that they're very streaky. You can see them having 5 wins in a row or going unbeaten in 10 matches. But then you see some they're streaky. Then they go on a bad losing streak, on a cold streak with 3 losses and 2 draws. So this might be, it's already a streak. They've lost 3 in a row. So I couldn't be surprised if they lost another one. After all, Chelsea at home have been really good against Arsenal. I think they've only lost twice over the last 11 years here at this venue. So, but again, Chelsea, man, I picked the wrong, timing to back Arsenal, because I was watching them all season. I said, nah, Arsenal, yeah, they want to play European soccer next season. They want to play in the Champions League, but something inside me tells me that they're going to screw it up, and they are screwing it up. So a couple of losses here and there, and they might not even play at all in Europe next season. I mean, they're scheduled to finish the season. The next match is at home against United. Then they have to play at West Ham. Then they have Leeds. Then they have Tottenham, and they finish off with Newcastle and Everton. Newcastle, okay, they're probably safe from relegation, but Everton are actually fighting to avoid it. So they don't have a lot of easy matches left. So a loss here against Chelsea could potentially drop them outside the top 6 spots, especially, they do still have a couple of matches in hand, which is the only silver lining that I could see. But as far as this match goes, I don't see a lot of goals. I mean, Chelsea, they might try to, block them, since it all comes down to whether Lacazette is going to play or not. But even if he does, how can you trust a guy who wants out? I mean, this is a very bad timing for Arsenal. If this match was played a week ago, I might have, picked Arsenal with plus half a goal. But now Chelsea have resolved their issues after those, back-to-back terrible losses in the Champions League and the Premier League. They now have won 3 in a row. But still, I think the money should, if you had to play this match, I'd slightly lean towards Chelsea money line, but the odds are not that great. And Arsenal have been really, really weird this season. This is a match where I don't want to get involved, but if I had to, maybe a draw, maybe a low-scoring match. So that's what I see here.
Yeah, maybe low scoring, because I'm not even sure Arsenal get on the board. The one, I think one of the worst things you can do sometimes as a capper or as a bettor is look at a team that had been playing well but is going through a rough patch and trying to find a reason to bet them. If you're searching for a reason and it takes you a while to find it, then it's not there, and you're better off staying off the game. It is tough for Arsenal right now, and the way that United is playing as well too, especially defensively. It makes you wonder if the Antonio Conte magic in Tottenham is going to get this team into the top 4, keep them in the top 4. If you look at the Tottenham schedule to close out, they're away at Brentford this weekend, and then home to Leicester, at Liverpool, then the North London derby against Arsenal, and then they finish with Burnley and Norwich. I think it's a much more favorable schedule than the other 2 teams in Arsenal and Man United. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks with those. Guys, before we head to the third game, it's Tuesday. So obviously it is $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo. $2 Tuesdays is where you can get a featured cappers play for only $2. Over at WagerTalk, it's Marco D'Angelo. Marco's got a play up. Marco's been having a great 2022. So head over to WagerTalk. Along with that play, these are plays that normally go for $25 and $35. You'll find some great promo deals inside the analysis section. So head over to WagerTalk, take advantage of that. And then over at Sportsmemo, you can get 3 cappers. It's the usual deal, 3 cappers for the price of $5, or each capper separately for $2. So take advantage of these $2 deals over at Sportsmemo and WagerTalk every Tuesday. Great deals and great promos inside of those plays. Also, guys, I want to mention a show special. We're into the final rundown of this soccer season in Europe. And I'm going to get you guys a great deal. Use coupon code SOC60. That's SOC60, and get $60 off a 30-day all-access soccer package. That's normally $179. That's now $119. That is a great deal. That's about $4 a day, guys. And you're going to get every single soccer play released by any one of the cappers on today's show, and that includes 5% plays. So head over to WagerTalk.com or Sportsmemo, click on your favorite cappers page, click on the soccer menu and find the 30-day, and then use that coupon SOC60. All right, guys, third game. This one goes tomorrow as well too. Another Premier League game. This one is Everton and Leicester City. Let's have a look at the price of this one. Everton at home plus 137. The draw plus 225. Leicester City's plus 200 here. I'll look at this game first and then throw it to Kevin. This is the first meeting between these 2 teams, and this was originally scheduled as a round 18 game, but it was postponed with players either sick with COVID or injuries and not enough players to field a team. So it was moved. So these 2 sides will play a couple times still to close out the season. The market's moved in Everton's favor from the opening line. I think it's down to about 125 now, plus 125, and it's somewhat understandable. They're starting to play better. They got to win. They got to win to move above the relegation zone. They're trying to put some space between them and the bottom 3 teams there. And you look at Leicester, and they're mid-table as far as European play goes. They're too far off those top 6 spots to make a run, and their focus has shifted to the Europa Conference League, having won this past week They're now into the semifinal round, which will go next week. They play against AS Roma of Italy. And, with that focus switching there, you might want to look at Everton here. I think it's a team that is playing better. The results weren't there, but the results are starting to come. They're at home at Goodison. And when I look at these teams, there's last 13 games at Goodison, both teams have found the back of the net in 12 of those 13 games. You can take both teams to score minus 140, and that's where I'm going to go along with Everton on the three-way money line in this one. So it's Everton plus 125 for me, and both teams to score minus 140. Kev?
Let's go for the 1-1, Carmine, because I quite like the under in this one. I know we've all been a little bit critical of Frank Lampard in the past in this show, especially Pavlos. I'm not sure what his issue with Big Frank is. Obviously some beef there, but I have to say I've been really impressed with some of Everton's performance, as you mentioned it briefly there too. Since he's taken charge of Goodison, they should have beaten West Ham a few weeks ago in London. I thought they played the much better football in that game, just got a bit unlucky. And, it was a massive improvement on their road form, from earlier in the season as well. But, it's arguably at home where Lampard's improved the most since taking charge. Since his appointment to the club back at the end of January, Everton actually ranked 7th in the league on home form. They're ahead of Wolves, they're ahead of Arsenal, they're even ahead of Manchester City as well. So, it has been quite a ride for Lampard over that stretch. He's 5-2 at Goodison now, as well in both league and cup actions. So, despite all the doom and gloom surrounding the relegation plight right now, he's arguably been the one keeping them out of it. And, even more impressive than that 5-2 record he's kept at home since taking charge. All but one of those wins came to nil as well. So, this Everton team is a completely different beast at home than they have been on the road this season. This is such a massive game for them as well, obviously, too, with Burnley sitting right behind them. And they're facing a Leicester team, as you said, who are basically, just sitting around waiting for the Europa Conference League semi-finals to roll around next week. Almost zero to play for domestically in the Premier League. Unless they'd like to cash my top Midlands club ticket that I put on them at the start of the season, try and catch Wolves over the final few games, although, I'd say that's well down Brendan Rodgers' priority list. So while I have been impressed with Everton at home under Lampard, if they're going to win this game, in my opinion, I think they need to keep Leicester quiet. So I'd rather trust the under here as opposed to Everton. But heavy lean to the under 2.5 goals in this one for me. Smaller lean on the side to Everton as well.
All right, that's Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com. He's a big Brendan Rodgers fan, I have to believe, Kev, right?
I didn't like the way he left Celtic, Carmine, I'll be honest. He left a bit of a sour taste in Celtic fans' mouth. So I'm kind of 50-50 about him, to be honest.
Well, I'll be a fan of his if he gets a goal or his team gets a goal tomorrow in a 2-1 defeat to Everton, which cashes both of my tickets on that one. All right, guys, we're going to go to the final game on the card, and we're going to Spain for this one, Real Sociedad and Barcelona. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Real Sociedad at home, plus 220. The draw, plus 250. Barcelona, plus 120. Nick, I'm going to go first on this one. Quite the surprise with Barcelona at home. I think they were a 2-goal favorite in that one yesterday, and they came away on the wrong end of a 1-0 loss. Do they rebound here?
Yeah, Barcelona suck. All right. That's all I can say. I had them in a parlay, money line parlay I took with them in Liverpool today, but yeah, lost that one before I even got today. So I'm not upset or anything like that, clearly. But early for this game, I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to go with the under here, as it seems that is all Sociedad does. I mean, they have a league-leading 8-24 over-under record, so it's only 8 out of 32 matches have gone over 2.5 goals this year. League low 1.9 average per game. At home, one game in La Liga has gone over 2.5 goals. So it's pretty remarkable, averaging just a ridiculous 1.1 total goals per game at home this season. Barcelona, obviously, we're rolling. We talked about them being the hottest team, out there, and then they get knocked out of the Europa League by Frankfurt, and that carries over to this 1-0 loss yesterday. Of course, they were missing Pedri, who's now out for the season, and that's a huge blow for them because he's been playing very, very well. They're likely to get Peak back for this match, from what I'm reading, but that only helps bolster their defense, which kind of backs my argument of taking the under here. Only one of the last 7 meetings in the Liga between these teams has finished under the total, so the trend is not with us here. But Sociedad is battling for a European qualification. I think they do everything they can to at least grab a point. And I think the only way they're going to be able to do that is to set up defensively. So I like the under. I think there's good value at 2.5 goals right now. I just don't see a lot of action in this game. And Barcelona, I don't know what they're going to be coming in with here as far as motivation, excitement, whatever you want to call it. So I think Sociedad actually controls more of this game than Barcelona does, and I think it's going to be low scoring. So under 2.5.
All right, Nick Borrman, not Kevin, Nick Borrman with, I'm trying to give Kev as much advertising as I can on the show, but that's Nick Borrman of WagerTalk.com. Pavlos, you look at this and, they sit second behind Real Madrid. The title is Madrid's for all intents and purposes, but you look at it, they sit second, but they aren't guaranteed a top 4 spot as of yet. The race is right there. You have Sevilla on 60 as well. You have Atletico Madrid on 60, and then you have Betis, who are in action on Tuesday at 57. And of course, Sociedad, who can pull within 2 points of Barcelona with a win here in this game. So give me your thoughts, because this obviously affects the top 4.
Yeah, this is a huge battle. Barcelona, it wasn't out of the blue. Their loss to Cadiz, it wasn't out of the blue. I didn't actually expect them to actually lose, but I expected them to at least not have a very good time, and they lost. And I was also surprised when they lost to Frankfurt, who, by the way, looked like prime Barcelona in that Europa League match on Thursday. So Barcelona are actually facing the threat of not playing in the Champions League next season, and it's not really out of the question. I mean, now they until yesterday they had 2 matches in hand, and they were looking, like they would have the upper hand for a top 4 finish. But now things are not looking all that great, and they should be able to, at least get a draw here, because they do have a couple of easy matches to finish the season, but one of them is at Betis, and the last is at home against Villarreal, who will be looking for points at that point. So they need to get points. And what's really interesting, Nick made some great points about Real Sociedad and how great the defense, how great their defense is this season, especially at home. And I was looking at their stats all day yesterday, and I found something really interesting. So Real Sociedad, in the first halves of their home matches, they've scored just 4 goals and have conceded just one first half goal at home conceded this season. So they still have 3 home matches left. This one against Barcelona, the next one is against Cadiz, who I don't expect them to concede, and the last one is against Atletico Madrid. So I think, in my mind, that there is no way they're going to finish the season with just 1 first half conceded goal at home. So when I looked at Barcelona's performance on the road, especially in first halves, they're leading the La Liga with first half goals on the road with 12. So they'll be eager to bounce back after 2 bad losses at home as well against Cadiz and Frankfurt. So they should be able to make a strong start in this match. And we've seen these numbers that I'm about to say were from last year and the years before, where Messi was in Barcelona, but still we have to take them into account. There is a lot of overs and a lot of both teams to score. I think it's 7-1 in both teams to score in this venue between the 2 sides. A lot of overs there. Barcelona dropped 6 on them last year. They dropped 2 here. So they've been scoring multiple goals. And they've been consistent scorers in the first half in this venue. They've scored in 4 of their last 5 matches here. They scored at least 1 goal in the first half, and they also scored a couple of goals in the reverse fixture this season, where they beat Real Sociedad by 4-2. So the only problem is that they haven't scored a first half goal in any of their last 5 matches, but I still think the value is great here. So I'm taking Barcelona to score over a half goal in the first half at -110.
All right, that's Pavlos Laguretos of Sports Memo. Pavlos, the only thing that worries me is the injuries to the back line of this Barcelona team. And you look at you look at the center backs in this one. It's Garcia. It's likely going to be Garcia and Lenglet again. Does that worry you at all?
No, not really, because the other way to play this is probably the over 1 goal in the first half, because Real Sociedad they're actually in a more dire situation, because if they don't get any points, of course Villarreal are 6 points behind, but I think Real Sociedad have an even tougher schedule to finish the season. They have Villarreal and Atletico Madrid in the last couple of matches. Of course, up until then they have some easy matches, but theoretically easy, because they have Rayo, they have Levante, and they have Cadiz, who are all kind of fighting to avoid the relegation. So they should also try to score, maybe an early goal and then sit back, like they know how to do, to score an early goal and then sit back. So I think that there's gonna be goals in the first half, possibly an over, as we've seen, because Real Sociedad are one of the most defensive, one of the best defenses in the La Liga, but whenever they meet against Barcelona, something happens. So I see a lot of goals here, possibly an over 2.5, and possibly over goals in the first half. But I think there is good value in the -110 for Barcelona to score in the first half, simply because Real Sociedad have considered just one first half goal. I mean, that's insane. If they do that, if they finish the season with just one considered first half goal, then fine by me. But I don't think that's going to happen.
All right, we will continue that discussion on next Tuesday's show, Pavlos, when we discuss some Champions League. So there you have it, guys. Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Everton, Leicester City, and Real Sociedad and Barcelona discussed on this week's show. We're going to go into our best bet segment, and then I'll finish off with a promo reminder one more time. Kev, I'm going to go to you first. You are heading to this weekend's Bundesliga action. Tell us what you got.
Yeah, just to remind everyone as well, Carm, 5% Euro Colossus top play goes off today at 3 p.m. Eastern, 15-8 run on all 5% soccer plays since August. So really looking forward to extend that here today. In terms of best bet, you're right, we're heading over to Germany, and I'm going to take a look at the total between Union Berlin and RB Leipzig on Saturday. I like the under 2.5 goals in this one. Kind of similar to what we talked about earlier with Everton as well. Leipzig at home are finding ways to keep clean sheets this year. Over their 5 Bundesliga home games since January 20th, 3 of those have been accompanied by a clean sheet. They've allowed just 0.4 goals per game to opponents over that stretch as well. So, similar to that, Union Berlin, solid top 6 side this season. They're coming off 3 straight wins now. And they too have allowed just 1 goal over the last 3 games as well. So I think this will be a tight game on Saturday. Both teams with a ton still left to play for, obviously. But no doubt Leipzig will be keeping one eye on next week's Europa League semi-final as well. So, under 2.5 for me on Saturday between Union Berlin and RB Leipzig. Best bet.
All right. Kevin Dolan, WagerTalk.com. Next up, Nick Borrman, doing very good in MLS, and you've got an MLS weekend play for us. Tell us where we're going.
Yeah, definitely been riding a good streak in the MLS, so we'll stick there. I'm taking LAFC on the road at Cincy. Los Angeles last year, it's still remarkable to be the team with the second best expected goal differential in the league the entire year last year, plus 0.63 per game, missed the playoffs. They had to be one of the biggest underperformers in the league in MLS history. I don't have all those numbers, but I would have to bet that it's like a top 5 collapse of all time. That being said, this year, they're back on tops of the league so far in expected goal differential. The difference is they're actually scoring their chances this year. So perhaps it was the manager change, ousting Bob Bradley as manager. Maybe it's Carlos Vela finally back scoring goals and healthy. He's been injured a lot the last 2 seasons. But either way, positive regression has certainly occurred with LAFC. Cincy, meanwhile, they seem much improved from their league low minus 0.59 expected goal differential last year. So far, they've actually had pretty solid results, but they've been very fortunate with an easy schedule and thus far, and they're coming off a lucky result, which Kevin and I were both happy with, a 0-0 draw at Atlanta. We were both actually on Cincy, but they gave up 3.4 expected goals in that game. I don't know how they didn't actually allow a single goal. So I'm not complaining, But I do think they're in for a rude awakening here against LAFC, who are now, playing with some confidence. They're actually converting their chances, which they're getting a ton of. So statistically, they're the best team in the league. You're laying a quarter of a goal right now. You get a small plus number on them just to win the three-way money line as well. So I like LAFC on the road at Cincy on Sunday.
All right, Nick Borrman, WagerTalk.com. We're heading over to Pavlos from Sports Memo with a Bundesliga game on Saturday. Pavlos, tell us what you got.
It's der Klassiker, as they say it in German. It's the biggest match in Germany between Bayern Munich and Dortmund. So, Bayern Munich, actually both sides they've had a lot of defensive issues over the season, not a lot of clean sheets, especially Dortmund, but they've kind of fixed that lately. And we've seen a lot of unders in the month of March with Dortmund, but now Haaland is back. They completely dismantled the Wolfsburg last week with 5 goals in the first half. I mean, that was an impressive. They actually needed that win, and they needed that big win because their offense was kind of struggling lately. They've scored over 2 goals in just one of their previous 6. So they really needed that psychological boost. Well, Bayern, after the shock to Villarreal, they're back to their old ways. They beat Bielefeld by 3-0 over the weekend. They were in total control of that match. But here's the thing: I don't think Dortmund are actually can actually do something for the title. Even if they win here, they'll still be 6 points behind. So there's no way Bayern are missing this title. And the last 5 matches between the two sides had both teams to score and over 3.5 goals. And Bayern Munich, they won 3 of those matches by 3-2. So that's another correct score to look for. And also, of course, I'm going to make a special mention about the curious case of the elusive 3-3 draw in the Bundesliga. We haven't seen that this season, so this might be a good candidate. But I think both teams need, a good result. Maybe this is a draw, maybe in the form of a 2-2 or a 3-3, but there's going to be goals flying all over the place, especially, with Haaland wanting to, of course, he wants out. He's been wanting out for the entire season. So I think that's his time to shine against Bayern Munich. And we might see Lewandowski and Haaland getting on the score sheet here, but I like both teams to score and over 3.5 goals.
All right. That is Pavlos Laguretos of Sports Memo with his play. Guys, I am going to go to Italy on Sunday, and I'm going to look at the Fiorentina game and Fiorentina in specific. This team has been playing absolutely fantastic football, and they're moving up the standings. Not a lot of people, I think, are paying attention to this team, and I think they thought there would be a drop-off after they sold Dusan Vlahovic to Juventus in the January transfer window. But this team has not lost. They are picking up wins. They have a game in hand, and they're dreaming of Europe right now. A win will put them in a top 6 spot, and only 4 points back of that 4th spot in Juventus. And their last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, they're going to close out with games against teams that they'll need to beat to get one of those top 6 spots. They'll play against AS Roma, and then they'll finish their season off with Juventus in a game that could very well decide the 4th and 5th placings in that. With that said, they're playing bottom of the league, Salernitana here. This is a game where they need to get a result. They're not going to take them lightly. They themselves are coming off a win against Sampdoria on the road, but they're 9 points out of saving themselves for another season. They're likely heading right back down to Serie B next season. I'm gonna lay the little bit of juice here. The price is 154, minus 154 on Fiorentina, but I'm gonna take them to win this game. You can even take them on the goal line if you wish, and forego that juice. But it's Fiorentina for me on Sunday in Serie A action. All right, guys, listen, thanks for tuning in. I want to remind you of our promo one more time. You can get $60 off a 30-day soccer all-access package using the coupon code SOCK60 at checkout. That's normally $219. You can get it, $219. You can get it for, $119. My apologies. Usually $179, get it for $119. I'm mixing up the hockey package along with that. Tune in to Puck Time, top of the hour. We'll be back next Tuesday, Champions League, Europa League, Europa Conference League. For myself, Nick Borrman, Kevin Dolan, and Pavlos Laguretos, thanks for tuning in, and good luck with your wagers, guys.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.